Hey everyone, Izzy and MJ from Endless RVing. If you're tuning into this video, you're probably asking yourself, well, what do they mean? What are the 5 things that people regret when they're RVing? We've been RVing for 7 years. Is it 7 or 8? I kind of lost track.
Something like that.
And we've learned a lot during those times. We have many thousands of miles that we have traveled, and there's certain things that we want to tell you that at least you know about it so that you don't regret buying an RV.
Real quick before we start, this is a reminder because many of you are finding yourself unsubscribed. Hit the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when we release new videos.
So if you've been looking at getting an RV for the first time or you own an RV, you already know there's a high initial cost to get in. Like RVs have gotten very expensive, like everything else around has gotten expensive. But what a lot of people don't consider is the high maintenance cost. Now, their maintenance cost can vary depending on what type of RV you have. And RVs can come from very basic trailers that are going to be a lot less maintenance cost up to very expensive motorhomes that can be very expensive to maintain. Now we are somewhere kind of in the middle there. We have a Newmar gas motorhome and we just want to share some of our expense costs, and we actually did a whole video about our expense costs last year. We'll link it up above, but just to reference that video if you don't want to go watch it. Last year was a big year. We had a lot of maintenance issues that we had to upgrade as far as tires. Our awning motor went out. We had a leveler motor out, whatever. Total cost just to operate, let's say outside of maintenance, just to operate was over $16,000. That was on year number 5. So if you divvy that up into every year, I mean, you can do the math, right? It's about...
Nellie really had a rough time.
They had a rough time. But you need to budget that. You need to expect that. That way you don't get surprised by it. One way that we were able to avoid a lot of costs, because believe it or not, it would have cost us more, was through our wholesale warranty, extended warranty. Now, we've had our extended warranty for 2 years. We just extended it for another 3 years because it has covered so many of the costs, those unexpected costs.
Did we get that at the right time or what? It was right before everything
the perfect
started.
Time. And
started crap in the bed.
We did a whole video about our 2-year experience, and the policy cost less than they paid out. We actually made out a deal. Now for the next 3 years, I don't know if that's going to happen, but if you want more information about that, we can link it down below. What are some of the common maintenance costs that you could expect to go through? Now we have our motorhome, so every year you talk about oil changes, which we do on our own. This year we just had a complete fluid change. That was about $1,800. So any fluids that were in here, we had them changed because this was our 6th year. Also, you know, brakes, roof seals.
The leak test.
Leak test we do every year, which is, again, that's a preventative medicine. That's $150. We have our interior of our motorhome pressurized to see if there's any leaks, and knock on wood, MJ's head, we have had no leaks in 6 years. But tires, anything to maintain, these things wear over time, and then of course you have preventative maintenance like seals, all those kind of things. It does build up the cost.
Now we're inside. It's about 95 degrees out today in Jersey, even now at like 6:12 at night. So we have the air on. If you hear that, I apologize for the background noise. The next one, guys, and which is why a lot of people like to do other forms of travel, is limited living space, along with other things, carrying capacity and things like that, but limited living space. So again, even on a 45-foot motorhome or, you know, a huge 5th wheel or whatever, it's a lot of space for an RV, but you're still limited much more than if you were in a sticks and bricks. For example, if it's Izzy, myself, Jason, would have the 2 dogs. You probably know Sierra has passed recently, so we have Bowser. It was very tight. I could see Izzy's hair on the back of his neck standing up. It would just get really, really tight. You know, we have a good amount of space here, but for example, like in our bathroom, and we lose a lot of room in our bathroom because we have a large living room. The shower is not huge, and it's, you know, it's just a smaller, but you're not fitting 2 people in this bathroom. I know first world problems, but it's just something to think about. A lot of people may feel cramped or just, you know, claustrophobic, but it's a regret for some. But for us, we do just fine. We learn to make it work if we're all together, and we absolutely love it. And in a lot of our videos, you'll hear us talk about stuff, hashtag stuff. We say that all the time. And you're definitely limited with that too. So especially if you're going to be full-time or most time, when we hit the road most time in, you know, the near future, you have to downsize and really pick and choose what's most important to do that. Now I see
that's going to be really hard for you.
This crazy smile. I saw this little sneaky smile.
Well, let's put.
It's not hard for
So
me.
let's put it this way. When we went to Nashville Phil, to the Music City Motorhome Expo. There was probably about 70 pounds of clothes, like, because you had to work, so I was loading the RV. There was clothes for about 6 months of living that you never had to wash clothes. I'm like, honey,
that is
where
an
are we going?
exaggeration. Okay, as a woman, let me explain this to you. Women, chime in down below. You don't know what mood you're going to be. You put on any dirty old t-shirt.
Yeah, I wear it 2-3 days in a row.
But right,
multi.
ew. But women, we like to have an assortment. What am I in the mood for today? I don't apologize for that. But we still had room in that closet.
Yeah, we did. After 80 pounds of cargo carrying capacity and shirts.
So yes, carrying capacity, you have to be aware of that, guys. Whatever, you know, your capacity is for the RV that you have, you really have to make sure that you're staying within those limits and that you kind of keep it to a minimum. Now, speaking of maintenance, we don't mess around with that. And what we really don't mess around with is our cleaning maintenance. And we've talked about this over and over in many, many videos, how important it is to keep your RV clean.
Yeah, you can see, I'm not even going to demonstrate this following product on our motorhome because I just washed it and it's extremely clean. But if you watched our videos, you know we love Release Cleaner. Release Cleaner is an all-in-one solution by SideQuest USA. They are a US-based company, originally started in the aeronautics industry. They've been around a long time, but now they're expanding out to RVs, boats, golf carts, whatever you need to clean, you can use Release Cleaner.
The beautiful thing about Release, guys, is that you can use it on anything. Fiberglass, you can use it on upholstery, you can use it on counters, on glass, on you name it, you can use it. And we do. We actually, you cleaned your pants, you put it on your pants. Yep. I cleaned my sneakers, we cleaned a car, everything on the RV with it. It's phenomenal.
But actions speak louder than words, guys. So here is Release in a foam cannon at the strongest solution, which is a 1-to-20 solution. And I'm just going to spray and demonstrate. Just kind of get the dirt here.
Let's see.
Our Mustang has been a little neglected here, but you can see the dirt. I'm just going to spray, do the fender real quick. As I speak, I'm going to let Release associate with the dirt, which means it's just going to grab onto the dirt and take it away. What's pretty awesome about Release, guys, is that you see this little bottle here. This is actually a little larger than a 32-ounce bottle, but this 32-ounce bottle, guys, you can carry 80 of these 32-ounce bottles on your RV if you get the 1-gallon concentrate. Not at once, but the 1-gallon concentrate, you can have 80 of these. Comes out to about $1.12 for each bottle at the strongest concentrate. Again, 1-to-20. If you go any diluted anymore, you can get many more bottles.
That's like dollar store cleaner,
you can't get anything at a dollar store.
But at a high quality, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
$1.12 a bottle.
Plus, they, again, made in the USA, and anything over $75 is free shipping, and you get a discount code, which we're going to make you wait for because I want you to see how this works. It already gave it enough time. Here's the clean microfiber towel, guys. I'm just going to quickly wipe. I'll just go over here.
It's a mirror now.
There's the dirt.
Yeah.
Some people talk about streaking. What you need to do is you gotta let it, you know, use the other side, dry side of a towel or a different towel so it doesn't streak over. But if you look over here, guys, look at this. Look at that one section. Look how clean this is. This paint is 24 years old. This is a 24-year-old car. If you want more information about Release, you want to go to releasecleaner.com, use the discount code
Endless10.
You get 10% off of your purchase. Guys, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of our subscribers are raving about Release. They absolutely love it. We'll put their information down below. Now, the next one really depends on what type of RV you have, but unless you get in a Class B, it's almost always going to be a lot more difficult to drive and navigate an RV. Even Class Bs. If you're coming from a little hatchback, it's different driving a Class B. And what do we mean about this? You know, we are at 37 feet, and when we're towing, that's another like 14 feet, so you do the math. If you have a fifth wheel, if you have a towable, it's actually more difficult, more fatiguing, and there's a lot more you have to take into consideration. So a couple of things. I mean, when you drive, what are some of the things you had to take into consideration?
So, well, there's many things. Obviously, you're not going to move as fast in this as you are in a regular car. It's going to be way different going down hills, for example. I remember getting a really good quad workout, even with the tow haul on. It was difficult. Turning this thing or something similar size or bigger, everything's wide, everything's big. It's like you're driving a bus, and you have to be really, really careful in terms of the turns, but also your clearance above, size, all of that. So this is something that, again, in driving a car, or even a pickup truck, you're not really thinking of those things.
Maybe if you want to grab this, I want to show them two more important things. And there's many that we can go over, but so I want to share something else, and this is specific to us, and there's many things that we can share, but we want to keep this in a concise video. Really important thing that we learned with our motorhome that wasn't really a consideration with the trailer are blind spots. Now we have two major blind spots on this motorhome, and it's not just this motorhome, it's really any Class A motorhome. First blind spot is right here. This is a big blind spot. I cannot see any of this. If you're a car here, I just don't see you unless I have that camera. So you have to take that into consideration. Also have your partner look if possible. The second big blind spot is right up front. If I'm over here, driver cannot see me. We measured it at, I believe it was about 6.5 feet that we had to be away from the front before that driver can see you. So that's a really important thing, because what could be here? It could be a child, it could be a bike, it could be a dog, it could be a concrete pillar, it could be a bunch of things. So that's another thing. A lot of people can't get over that. That's a cause of a lot of crashes. Again, more cost, something to take in consideration.
Now the next one is going to go for pretty much any RV that's out there. Yes, everything. And it's very prevalent right now, and it has been for a while. But a lot of people even mention in comments to us they are not moving forward with purchasing an RV because of very high fuel costs. So as you know, right now, fuel is not cheap, and these things, they guzzle a lot.
A good day is 7 miles per gallon. Now, if we hit 7.1, I am super happy. That's mostly highway mileage. That goes, even if you have a small towable, anything you hook onto your car is going to add more weight, create more drag. Your miles per gallon could be going down. Some of those Class Bs get 15, 16 miles per gallon, which I guess seems good compared to 7, but compared to like
a car or something,
a little SUV or something like that, they're getting 25, 30. It's really not that great. And like MJ said, fuel is very expensive. So we actually plan out where we're going to stop our fuel many times. And I'll tell you this, if I have to take something in for service, I try to make sure it's a couple of things, because every time I go to service, of course there's a service entry fee just to get to the place, but it costs me $50, $60 in fuel just to go to service.
Two drink minimum.
Yeah, so I tell them, listen,
I just made a joke and you didn't even laugh. It's a 2 drink minimum. Laugh with me.
Ha ha ha. So I'll tell them, you know, keep it until it's done. I don't want to be picking this up back and forth because it's too expensive to do that.
And another thing to think of, guys, is when you're driving, slow down.
Yeah.
Not only just for safety purposes, that really helps save on fuel costs as well. And this one has a lot to do with cost, but a bit of a different one.
So the next one is going to be the continuing rising cost of campgrounds. Now, there's many different ways that you can camp, guys, out there, whether it's super primitive, dispersed camping, all the way up to a resort. But they've all gone up in price. We've noticed significant price increases. When we first started RVing, 40, 50 bucks, you could get a pretty nice place.
Yeah.
40, 50 bucks now is a state campground. Right. A lot of places.
Or like a Love's Travel Stop, some of them. And also, not only that, and this was not the case when we first started, but it happened, I think it kind of kicked in after COVID. Put in the comments if I'm right about that. Where many campgrounds started adding in fees for children.
Little hidden fees.
For pets. The nickel and diming everything.
For every extra person.
Right.
Visitors, right? They charge for everything. And when I say $40 to $50 cheap, that's per night. That's not at a resort. Most resorts, I mean, we've seen resorts well over $200. We won't stay at them. But yeah, people do stay at them, and it can get really, really expensive.
These are 5 things that some people could regret in buying an RV, or actually not even start the process of buying an RV because it may be holding them back. Now, for us, it's not an issue. We love RVing way too much. There's always a give and take with whatever kind of travel you do, right? But with us, it's worth every minute. We absolutely love RVing, and many thousands and thousands and thousands of you out there feel the same way.
And the reason why we're doing this video is not to discourage you from RVing, but there's a lot of new RVers out there. There's a lot of people that want to get into the RVing lifestyle. There's a lot of younger RVers out there. So we just want you to be aware. Just be prepared for what the cost is, so that way you're not disappointed. You know where you're getting into. There's no surprises, because I'll tell you this: when you go to the RV dealership, they don't tell you all those costs. They don't tell you that. They just say, oh no, it's only $150 a month for the next 80 years, and then you find out about maintenance and registrations and insurance and all that stuff. But we want you guys to be aware of it. So in the comments below, guys, let us know what are some of your biggest RV maintenance costs, or just your RV cost in general. Let us know what are some of the things that you don't like about RVing. We want to know, but more importantly, maybe a new RVer wants to know. If you like videos like this, guys, to the left of us, we'll put our RV DIYs playlist, we'll put our RV newbies playlist, and for myself and MJ, it's a journey of a lifetime, and we'll see you on the road.